Welcome back to the Winner Stays On podcast. This is episode 3 of the pod, and a lot of sports coming back this weekend. Open Championships, Team USA in soccer, baseball after their All-Star break. A lot of sports going on this weekend. How you feeling today?
Feeling good. Ready to get another podcast in the books. Got a lot of action this weekend with sports, so we'll be glued to our TV from early morning open to late night finals, so I'm looking forward to the weekend, honestly.
Yeah, lots of news in the sports world currently right now. Just a lot of tidbits, a lot of interesting facts, factoids.
Go through a little sports rundown.
Yeah, so we'll go through a little sports rundown. We'll probably start the podcast this way, going into the future podcast. Kind of start with a sports roundup, kind of highlight the news, give our 2 cents about it, kind of give our thoughts about it, and then, once we get into the meat of the podcast, so we probably pick 1 or 2 things to really hammer down that's relevant and talk about. Just kind of like a quick fire sports rundown. You kind of tell me the headline, I give you my thoughts, you give me your thoughts, and we move on.
All right, so a couple headlines this is just 2 days of sports news, if we're being honest.
Yep.
But start off Messi contract, 50% pay cut to stay with Barcelona for 5 more years. Is that a good contract for Barcelona? A good contract for Messi? You happy to see him stay?
It's a great contract for Barcelona.
It's a great contract for Barcelona.
You basically double the length in his salary, and you're paying him half the price. So Messi's really... Although Messi did agree to it, so, I think...
I thought he was going to maybe go to a little MLS. I saw a rumor of that,
I think at some point he will. But I think right now he was willing to stay at Barcelona and take that huge pay cut. I think winning Copa America had to do something with that.
Yeah,
he's
just
good
happy
spirits
in general,
and his attitude. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see that.
Yeah, Messi contract. So that was a big soccer news. Moving to basketball today. Just about an hour ago, Damian Lillard at a press conference, and he has not requested a trade yet, albeit all the rumors early today. So as Blazer fans, we're ecstatic to see that, so It's good stuff for Damian Lillard. Speaking of Team USA, they also had a lot of press conference drama going on with 2 players dropping out of the Olympics. We had Bradley Beal with health and safety protocols, and then also Kevin Love with just withdrawing, I think, because of just an injury.
Yeah.
And Keldon Johnson and JaVale McGee are the 2 guys replacing them. What?
To be honest, I don't really have super deep thoughts about this. I don't think it's that deep. They're obviously not being picked because they're the best.
Yeah.
But I think my guess is Keldon Johnson gets picked because Papa's coaching.
Yeah, but why? I see that, but why JaVale McGee?
JaVale McGee, honestly, they need bigs. They don't really have any bigs, but also Zion was there, but also you have to think about the player also has to accept. So maybe
JaVale McGee at the end of this Olympics, he could go 3 championships and a gold medal. So not many players in NBA history have done that, and JaVale McGee could be one of them.
Right now, though, the Team USA is not really looking like a gold medal team with the way the exhibitions are going. That's besides the point.
Continuing with COVID on our sports roundup is the Yankees were hit with COVID yesterday. Looks like Aaron Judge is going to be out about 2 weeks, which is a big blow to the Yankees, who are trying to turn their season around
back into the playoffs
and figure out if they're going to be buyers or sellers at the deadline.
I do think they're playing the Red Sox tonight. I think the game is still going on.
Tonight the game will go on.
It's just interesting because personally, I didn't think we'd have another outbreak among sports teams, but I wonder if this is a result of hanging out with a bunch of people at the All-Star.
Who knows? Who knows if it affects the rest of the MLB if we see other teams get it
due
to the All-Star, all the people just hanging out together. Moving on, Richard Sherman taking a turn there. He gets arrested for, I think it was domestic battery something.
Yeah, it was
burglary.
something. I think alcohol was involved.
I saw the video of him trying to break down his wife's door, and it was disturbing. So hopefully he gets the help he needs. And
that's definitely not positive news. At least no one got hurt in the Richard Sherman situation. He's a fantastic cornerback, but outside, off the field, definitely has got some things to work on. Definitely, I don't know.
For sure. A couple of NFL things going on. Tom Brady reportedly played the entire season last year with a torn MCL. Not sure if I believe that, though, because it was never on the injury report, and that would technically be against the rules for the Buccaneers to not put injuries on the injury report, but still impressive if he played any games. And then Saquon's also moving a majority of his endorsement salaries to Bitcoin. Not a huge sports tidbit, but it
just kind of shows that cryptocurrency is gaining a bigger foothold in the world. Trevor Lawrence, he's one of the players that put part of his contract into Bitcoin. A lot of athletes are kind of moving part of their paycheck and their contract into Bitcoin. It's going up. It's a smart business move, but that's kind of besides the point.
And the final thing before we get into our three main topics of the podcast is the NBA play-in is going to stay for next year, so we'll see the 7 through 10 play-in, which I'm glad we were doing that. That was a hit last year for me.
Yeah, the NBA and the NBA PA, Players Association, agreed to it. And yeah, I agree with you. I like it. I think it brings more added drama and more incentive to win as the regular season closes. I think if you're the 10th seed, you still have an avenue to the playoffs. So you still have an avenue to the 7th seed.
Yeah.
If you want it. So,
I liked it. It was very entertaining.
Well, I'm sorry. No, the 10th seed cannot get the 7th seed. Excuse me. They can't.
They cannot.
The 10 can only get up to the 8. But the 8 seed can get to the 7?
8 seed can get to the 7.
So yeah, so there's no incentive to play it out.
Yep.
It reduces the incentive to tank. So I'm a fan of it. It also, for just the average fan, it's more competitive basketball. It's almost like more playoffs. It's probably the closest thing we'll get to like March Madness, because it's like a one and done type thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun last year, especially with the star power it had last year. Not sure if we'll see that again, but
in the West we probably will.
We definitely could.
Just sheer number of teams.
But let's jump into the three main topics of the podcast. You want to start with a little golf?
Yeah.
Open Championship.
Start with the Open. So first thing we'll talk about, the British Open is this weekend at Royal St. George in, I believe it's England, obviously because it's the British Open. So right now I believe that we're recording this halfway through the tournament, pretty much. It's Friday night. 2 rounds are in the books at Royal St. George, and Louis Oosthuizen has the lead at 11 under. I believe it's a 36-hole record.
It is.
Let's see. Shoot, the par is 70, so 140. So he shot a 129 over 2 days, but I think it's the lowest amount of strokes. 11 under, second place.
But it wasn't the best round of the day. It
was not the best round of the day. Best round of the day.
3 6-unders.
Was Colin Morikawa. He went a 64, 6 under, 64.
Well, John Rahm.
To get to second place outright.
Yeah. So a low scoring today, which is not something you normally see at the Open Championship. So I can see why this is a record. Fan favorites, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson even, are up in the leaderboard. So the Americans and South Africans, we got 4 South Africans in the top, 10?
4 Americans and 4 South Africans in the top 8.
Top 8.
Yeah, so basically they're all, except for Andy Sullivan, an Englishman, is also there and tied for 7th. But yeah, that's actually interesting. Oosthuizen, Dylan Fratelli, Justin Harding, and Von Tonder are all.
Von Tonder.
Not going to lie.
Don't know his first name.
Yeah, he's not necessarily one of those golfers going to dominate in and out every week compared to Dustin Johnson. But still, major tournaments, you can always have that one golfer who plays really well and plays himself into contention.
It will be interesting, though, to see if Louis Oosthuizen can get over the hump. Hasn't won a major since
true.
2010. He's been on. He's been at the at least co-lead of the after 2 rounds for 3 of the 4 majors this year.
Yeah, he has played probably some of the best golf. He just hasn't been able to finish the job. Another guy I'm just gonna say that to keep your eye on going into the weekend is Brooks Koepka. He's only 5 under. He's 6 back. He played really well at the U.S. Open. He's playing really well right now. I think his knee's getting more healthy, obviously just from time. And I think he definitely has the firepower and the game to make a comeback. I'm also going to be watching
Brooks Koepka playing a little swagger after seeing a Bryson.
Oh yeah, if you want to talk about that now, we can.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So basically, yeah, we were debating on putting this in the sports roundup, but it kind of falls within the Open, and it's just funny. So Bryson DeChambeau uses Cobra drivers, which are pretty quality drivers, I must say. But Bryson's got a very specific one because he's trying to hit the ball to the moon, pretty much. So he's got super long shaft.
Pause.
Don't take it that way. Super long golf shaft and really low loft on the driver head. So less margin for error. So he said he drove the ball terribly on Thursday. In the post-game or post-round press conference, he said, the driver sucks. He just goes, driver sucks. And then a Cobra rep kind of retaliated and kind of responded, kind of, saying that they bend over backwards for Bryson. They do a lot for him, and it's just really stupid when he goes out and gets frustrated because he's trying to the margin for errors he's playing with is super small, so he's not going to be perfect every time. So, with that being said, Brooks Koepka, today after his round, the reporter asked him a question. He was like, yeah, I'm feeling good, I putted well, the driver's feeling great, any kind of smirked.
And tweeted out.
And tweeted.
He was like driving into the weekend.
Driving into the weekend, which is, Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau have been playing petty games for over a year now.
But it is good for golf.
But it's good for golf. It's entertaining, if I'm being honest. Like, it's the best thing I've watched since Tiger Woods.
I love it a lot.
But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. And right now, Koepka's getting the last laugh. He's in contention. Bryson DeChambeau just made the cut.
Making
at +1.
Making a par on 18.
Yeah.
I was watching that one happen.
He's struggling to make par right now. So.
Yeah. Some big names not making the cut. Specifically,
let's talk about Phil.
U.S. Open. Phil. 10 over round one.
So he has. I like to call. I don't know if it's a theory, but for some reason it happens a lot. The usual winner of the previous tournament will not be in contention for the following one. So Phil Mickelson got a case of he got a hangover from the U.S. Open, and absolutely just did not play well. Got cut. Dustin Johnson did the same thing at the Masters when he won the Masters. It might be a theory. Will Zalatoris withdraws.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
He's really good. If y'all know him, he's from Wake. Guy. Played well at the Masters. He's definitely gonna win a major one day, I think. Yeah, he withdraws. That's interesting.
Who do you want to see? Like, if you're looking at somebody that is 5 shots, maybe more back, who do you think can move up in the leaderboard? You already mentioned Koepka.
I think the other guy that can move up is Jon Rahm.
For sure.
Coming off a major tournament win.
6 under on the day, too.
Yeah, 6 under on the day, so maybe, depends on either, like Jon Rahm, it sounds really, elementary, but he's either going to have another 6 under round day or he's going to struggle tomorrow. Because he's either going to keep the birdie train going or he's going to tomorrow he's going to have back-to-back days because he didn't play well round one.
Yeah, I see defending champion Shane Lowry. He went 5 under today. A part of that group of Jon Rahm, Louis Oosthuizen, and Shane Lowry. Louis Oosthuizen goes 5 under, so that group had a lot of success today. Maybe due to the fact that they were playing.
They were the last group, right?
They were the last group of the day. Maybe the weather played a factor, but it looks like they haven't come out with the groupings yet, I don't think. But it's going to be Oosthuizen and Morikawa, and then you're going to have Spieth and Fratelli. So you're going to have a lot of big-name players playing at least. Scotty
Scheffler's another guy who's very underrated. He's very flies under the radar. He's not one of those like powerhouse American names like a Dustin Johnson or a Justin Thomas or a Koepka.
But I could definitely see him.
He's really good.
He could backdoor his way into a major one day.
Maybe. Personally, I'd like to see Jordan Spieth win this. Well. Jordan's got 3 majors currently. My guess is by the time he retires, he's got like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's probably a good guess. I think
it's so hard to win majors.
If he can get some sooner rather than later, that number could definitely go
going
higher. Just if he gets that swagger back, because he's played a lot better this year at major championships.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna say he's due quite yet, but he's got a major in the next 2 years, I think, for sure. So that's kind of our open thoughts. Going into the weekend, it should be a good one. This is the last major of the year.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly.
But will you be getting up early to watch it, or were you going to kind of
depends on how early.
I mean, I think last grouping tees off probably at like 10 a.m. I mean, I know first grouping is like 1:30 in the morning Eastern time. I mean,
yeah, so I'll be awake for that before.
Oh, we might actually could be awake.
But yeah, the Open Championship. Make sure y'all tune in Saturday, Sunday. Every time I watch the Open, like. It makes me just want to go play golf.
Every major championship feels the same.
And then I played well.
Obviously the Masters is the top of the chain when it comes to golf tournaments. But do you go U.S. Open then Open? Do you go PGA Championship? I think PGA Championship's the 4th. Right?
I think the Open for me is the worst one. I don't know why.
The Open?
No, I love them all.
Obviously,
I love them all. But like the Masters is number 1. The U.S. Open is number 2. That's non-debatable. And the PGA and the Open are similar, but. I don't know. I like the PGA's courses better. I don't really like the links style courses.
I actually do enjoy the Open probably a little more. I also just like it's just a different vibe around the Open. It's normally, I mean, it's actually been different this year. It's normally low scoring, like you're winning with like 3 under, cloudy, but it's different this year. Yeah. So,
all right, moving on. We're gonna move on.
We'll move on to finals.
Yeah,
NBA finals. So. Bucks tied up at 2. Home team wins once again, continuing the trend of the finals. Some legendary plays happened, including Giannis's block, which some people are debating that it is better than LeBron James's block in Game 7, which I find hard to believe. Maybe it took a little more skill, not as high stakes. But Bucks take Game 4, which sets up a pivotal Game 5 coming tomorrow night.
Right now, your prediction of every home team wins stands true.
Mm-hmm. So Suns in 7, obviously. Just going back to what you said about the Giannis block. That was, I think, skill-wise, it was better than LeBron's, although it's tight. But I think Giannis wins it because he's middle of the pick and roll between, I believe, was it Chris Paul and Ayton? Booker and Ayton. If it was Chris Paul, it would have been better. But Booker and Ayton, and kind of Booker lobs it over Giannis' head. He turns and doesn't even look for the ball, just jumps to the spot and blocks Ayton. And it wasn't a meaningless block. That was to preserve the lead and to go back down and get the go-ahead bucket in possessions to come. You saw what he said in the press conference after about it?
No.
He was like, I for sure thought I was going to get dunked on.
Yeah, well, Giannis is the reigning and annual Defensive Player of the Year candidate, so if anyone can make that play, it's him. I do think LeBron's block, though, like you said, was more high stakes, and therefore I give it that. Like, if Giannis did that in a Game 7 in the last 2 minutes, but he didn't. He did it in Game 4. So.
Yeah, everything about the LeBron block, just like when it comes down to stakes.
I think Mike. Even
the call.
Blocked by James.
But, I mean, we saw Chris Middleton absolutely go off in the fourth quarter. I mean, final 2 minutes of the game, he has 10 points compared to the Suns as a whole team, 4 points. And Middleton is actually in the stretch of one of the clutchest shooting performances in the playoffs in history. Is tied with LeBron James for most go-ahead or game-tying shots in clutch time in a playoff run, which is crazy.
And it begs the question, which you hear on these ESPN shows all the time: who's the Batman? Who's the Robin? Giannis and Chris Middleton.
I mean, I think it's still Giannis is the Batman. It's just when it comes to closing time, you give it to Chris Middleton. It's like if Shaq and somebody Shaq played with. Shaq is not going to close the game out for you, but he is your best player, and he runs the team.
Yeah, so. I agree. I am still curious about if the home team will win each game. I think if anyone is going to win a road game, I think it'd be the Bucks in Game 7.
Game 7 for sure would be a toss-up.
I think this is going 7 though, and I hope it goes 7 because that would be there's nothing better in sports than those two words.
Might be Game 7.
Game 7. That's right.
It's just that game. I mean, the Suns just haven't put a complete performance together yet. I mean, D-Book goes off for 40, and Chris Paul is just down the stretch.
Well, yeah, they just haven't.
Sheesh, what's going on with CP3?
They just haven't. Every player hasn't played their best game at the same time, which it's not going to happen. But yes, the Suns have room to improve in the series. I think the Bucks do too. Giannis is playing fantastic. Don't know if he has another gear in him. I really
He did get slowed down a little bit in game,
which I expected.
4.
Hey,
best bets. I won my bet from that game. You won yours.
I got one. Chris Middleton. I said over 5.5 assists. He got 5 assists. I think.
Yeah.
It was either 4
and then
or 5.
You said Giannis under.
I said Giannis under 34 points. He had 20.
I was skeptical of that one, but you were right. And then I said Bucks win by at least 4, which was looking sketchy. But then the free throw game closed it out for me.
Yeah.
So that was good to see. What was I about to bring up about the game?
Well, one thing I want to say is that it will be curious to see the adjustments that these teams make, because right now the Suns are forming the wall on Giannis, and it's basically you try to divert the ball away from Chris Middleton, and you're like, all right, we're gonna live with Pat Connaughton, Brent Forbes, even Drew Holiday to an extent.
Drew Holiday struggled a little bit.
Yeah, Drew Holiday struggled, but it's a good sign. It makes the Bucks have confidence, gives them confidence when Drew Holiday has a bad game, you still win the game. Mm-hmm. Yes, Middleton was historic, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Suns continue to deal with Giannis, because if they cut Giannis off from driving the ball, it turns into Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton isolation ball, and the Suns have the defenders to do that. And on the flip side, I think the Bucks are doing fine now, but they're teetering on the edge of asking Giannis to do too much on defense, I think.
Very sad.
But it's the Bucks. It's not a bad strategy because he's capable of it. It's just you're the Suns. If you keep doing the same thing on defense, and this goes back to Budenholzer being questionable at adjustments, Monty Williams will figure it out. So you can't just put Giannis in the paint you either have to kind of move Giannis in a different role, just throw different looks, or you need to change the perimeter defense because Chris Paul and Monty Williams, and even Devin Booker will rip that.
Yeah, and the Suns, I mean, you could tell in their press conferences, which I did just watch now, I mean, they are confident on offense. They're just like, the only reason we didn't win the other night is because a couple shots didn't go our way, but like their offensive game plan
is a make or miss league.
So, one thing I wanted to bring up is NBA refs were really trying to keep Devin Booker in that game. Like,
are you talking about that bear hug like, Phantom 6 on the fast break?
That was.
This goes back to my strategy, or not my strategy. This goes back to my theory that Devin Booker gets some of the nicest calls in the league.
I think if that's Chris Paul, if that's even Giannis, they're keeping him in the game. I think it was just because it was a star player and it was that time. But like as an NBA ref, you can't do that, no matter who it is.
Like, do you think there's obviously a hierarchy of who calls you get if it's in the gray area. Like LeBron is going to get calls.
Mm-hmm.
KD's going to get calls. Dam's going to get calls, and Devin Booker is right there getting all those calls, and I don't agree with it. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm a little biased just because I'm referring to a time that a phantom call cost the Blazers a win because Booker did his little. But nonetheless, I do think that the Suns were fortunate that Devin Booker didn't foul last night.
Yeah, I agree too. And then they had the audacity, some Suns fans, to say it was Suns versus refs, and I'm just like,
well, you're going to get that in the comments of every game ever. You're going to get Bucks versus refs, Suns versus refs. Didn't know the Bucks had to play the Suns and the refs. Didn't know the Suns had to play the Bucks.
We talked about it last podcast. Social media is it's a toxic place. People are trying to go viral. We see people like even go back to the Damian Lillard
People
stuff.
comment things they don't even believe themselves to get likes. It's pathetic at this point. You could say I'm at fault too by even like reading it, but it's entertaining sometimes to see the people who say the stuff they say just to get popular for 30 minutes. Nonetheless, Bucks Suns go to a Game 5, sorry for the tangent, but it has to be said every now and then.
Do you have Suns winning? I think I have Suns winning. If I'm sticking with my prediction, sure, I want to go Bucks, but I think I'm sticking with my prediction.
I literally think it's 50-50 because I think both teams are going to hold serve in 5 and 6. I think literally Game 7 is going to be... I mean, the Suns could win by 20, but the Bucks could win by 20 in Game 7. Like, you saw... Like Game 7's crazy things happen. It's just who's got it on that day. You can make the 3, you can miss the 3.
I just think home court advantage is such a big thing right now because both teams are playing so inconsistent, and you know what they say.
I don't know, but I think
role players play better.
I think if the Bucks lose Game 5 and they win Game 6, I think that momentum from Game 6 will take them into 7 games. I don't know. It can go either way. I want the Bucks to win.
I think I do too.
The Suns got the home court, so I'm split. I'm gonna go with the Bucks for now, though. I think Bucks in 7 right now.
I'm the same way. I'm just gonna stick with what I said because I'm so indifferent. I want the Bucks to win, but I'm gonna stick with Suns in 7. It's been fun watching these finals this year because this is the first finals. I mean, I just count last year as I didn't really watch it as much, just given it was the bubble. But this is the first time that it's been super even. And there isn't that villain in the finals. Yeah. Everyone did not want to see the Warriors win for a long time. No one wanted to see the LeBron Heat win.
Yeah, because
it's just two teams that, we said,
Chris Paul deserves a ring. Devin Booker's a fantastic young player. Giannis one of the nicest guys. Curtis Middleton had a career resurgence in Milwaukee. I mean, yeah.
There's no
former Blazer Pat Connaughton.
Yeah. Who's going to see the white man win?
Yeah.
He can jump.
Yeah. Pat Connaughton can jump, guys. Last thing we want to talk about, that's kind of our finals piece. MLB trade. So the MLB trade deadline is approaching. I'm not entirely sure the specific date is, but there's still some time until...
It's 2 weeks or something.
About 2 weeks. Not many trades happened. One trade did happen. The Atlanta Braves trade a low A or single A first baseman for Jock Peterson of the Chicago Cubs. I will reiterate that the Chicago Cubs are one of the teams to watch during the trade deadline. A lot of contracts that are going off the books at the end of the year, so they're trying to get pieces for them now. They're also a middling team that have no direction.
Yeah, I thought this was just one of those trades for the Braves that's it's not going to put you over the top, but it's not a bad trade at all because you're trading a guy that's 24.
You know what this trade is? This trade is a flex seal trade. What I mean by that
I know what you mean.
Is the Braves have a lot of holes with injuries. Acuna, d'Arnaud, and some not injuries, some because people suck as humans. Marcell Ozuna. But Jock Peterson is a utility player who can get you numbers and can help you win games. Play for the Dodgers. He's that nice little piece of Flex Seal tape, going to tape it right over that Acuna hole. Is it going to stay forever? No. There's going to be leakage? Yes, because no one can replace Ronald Acuna.
But it's better.
But it's better.
Waterfall.
But it's better than Adrian's in the leadoff spot.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean he's batting I think it's around 230 this year, and he's just going to be that. Yeah, he's going to be like that power bat. He's not going to come in here and
You can play some field a little bit.
Acuna does.
He's not going to be a.
He does have like a $10 million option next year that we could take for depth if we wanted to.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
I say we are.
Usually the mutual options for the second year almost always get declined, though, either by player, an agent, or by team. Usually they don't. That's what people were saying. Other players to watch to get traded, I would say Joey Gallo's up there. Trevor Story. Any Suns or not Suns. Any Cubs player.
I see a lot of Chris Bryant to the Mets right now, which as a Braves fan, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
I think that the division that'll be the most active is the NL East because you got 3, maybe even 4 teams if you include the Nationals.
A lot of teams that didn't expect to be where they are. I think the Mets were expecting to be competing for the NL East crown. Did not think they expected to be 4 games clear of the Braves at the deadline.
Yeah, the Braves didn't think they would be under 500 for the
entire
year.
Now the Braves are like, crap, we were going to be buyers, so should we be sellers now? The Mets are like, well, we didn't expect to be this good. Do we actually have a chance? Buy. The Marlins, even they might be buyers because they're starting to be, it's interesting. But yeah, Trevor Story is an interesting one. Joey Gallo.
And then obviously the Chris Bryant, Javi Baez. There's a lot of teams.
Craig Kimbrell.
I mean, a lot of teams need bullpen right now. It's just a question on which teams are going to get it and which teams are going to be aggressive.
You can never have enough pitching. So there's a lot of bullpen, yes. Like we said, a lot of bullpen relievers that are always going to get moved around. It'll be interesting to see what the Braves got for some bullpen.
I do want to see what the Braves do because I think they want to be aggressive, but they know they can't be too aggressive because they do have the hardest schedule left in the MLB here.
And you don't want to sell the farm for a second-round playoff exit.
Yeah, I mean, these two weeks are going to be huge because we see a lot of people saying the Jock Peterson trade. If we go 1-9 or whatever, how many games we play, if we don't play well and we end up 7 games back after 2 weeks, and Jock Peterson can just get flipped for another minor league player to another contending team. And then I also saw that maybe the Braves did this trade because they're thinking the Mets or Phillies are going to try to one-up them. And then the Braves, it's kind of secretly they're like, yeah, we're going in, we're going to trade, and we're going to get Jock Peterson and go all in. But we're secretly just trying to get the Mets and Phillies to just sell their farm to go all in this year too, and then set ourselves up for 2022. So
that'd be big brain.
There's a lot of storylines, a lot of teams that are trying to get over the hump. There's really no insanely tight races right now. I mean, everything is 4 games.
I will say the tight race is out in the NL West.
But all those teams are pretty much locked in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're all going to be playoff contenders.
But I mean, I look at the Central. NL Central has I think the Reds are 4 games within, and they start off with the Reds versus Brewers or something. So I mean, even Yankees versus Red Sox. If the Red Sox sweep the Yankees, then the Yankees are suddenly a ton of games back and could turn sellers. So these 2 weeks right now are absolutely huge.
I would say the teams that are selling, you usually keep your eyes on the buyers, but there's a lot of what I'm trying to say is the sellers usually the bottom feeders, the Pirates, the Tigers, the Royals. But now you have the Cubs, who are still in playoff contention, but they just kind of, by the media especially, they've been crowned as sellers. So it'll be interesting to see if the Cubs follow suit, which I think they will. There's Jock's already out the door.
I think the Jock thing just is the first domino to fall for them. It will be interesting to see, though, if they
big fall from grace from that 2016 World Series.
A Chris Bryant or a Javi Baez even out the door. I mean, the Reds are in need for a shortstop right now, and they're pushing for the Central. You could look at, Chris Bryant can play multiple positions. Even if you already have an established third baseman, you could trade for him, and suddenly you could play left field, first base. So, I mean, the trade deadline, it can go crazy, many different directions. But
that's the cool thing about baseball. There's also no salary cap in baseball. You can get who you want, which is cool. Last thing we're going to talk about today is our best bets for the weekend.
Best bets of the weekend.
Let's do it. So I got two.
So,
I got
you
two.
were
You got
1-1
two?
last week. I think I went... Did I go 2-0 last week? No, I still have one technically tonight as we're recording.
I went 1-1. So I broke even.
Right now I'm 1-0. So I want me to get mine first.
Go for it.
So mine are both for Saturday night. The first one I have is actually our Atlanta Braves. Money line over the Rays. The Rays, I think they haven't announced their starter yet, but they are minus Tyler Glasnow right now, so they don't have that extreme ace right now, and the Braves are going to throw their ace. Max Fried on the mound. I do think that the Braves win the game. I don't know if they'll win tonight. I think they win tomorrow night. They need to get at least a win in this series to get maybe a little momentum these next couple weeks.
Although I do want to say one thing. Do you think at this point, with the way the Braves are playing, Charlie Morton is the ace?
Charlie Morton might be the ace, but I mean...
Freed's capable.
Fried has ace stuff.
Ace stuff, right. All right, so that's your first one. My first one is actually, we're going to go soccer here. We're going to go to the Gold Cup, and I'm taking the U.S. men's national team money line versus Canada, which is going to be, I believe, it's either Sunday or Monday. So this is a later one. Yes, so Sunday night. Canada's good, but right now, as it stands, a draw is going to put Canada top of the group. USA would go second due to goals scored. Same differential, goals scored.
USA has put up a lot of goals in that most recent game.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the U.S. men's national team money line. I think they're going to come out aggressive. They're fresh off a 6-1 win against Minnows Martinique.
Minnows.
That's kind of the CONCACAF Minnows. They're just outclassed by the men's national team. It's not a fantastic win just because of quality of competition, but still able to get some momentum into that Canada game. No Alphonso Davies. I like the men's national team to win in that game and top the group.
I see that happening too. They've been a lot of momentum from that game.
What is your second one?
Take it how you want to. But I'll take my second one, also a Saturday night baseball game. I'm taking the White Sox money line on the road versus the Astros. Astros pitching Jake Odorizzi, who is still a solid pitcher, but he's like their fourth in the rotation. And the White Sox are pitching Lucas Giolito. So I'm going to go. I mean, he's very good, but he hasn't been that ace he was last year. It's kind of been more Carlos Rodon.
And Lance
Lynn. So Giolito, I think he starts off the second half hot. Give me money line White Sox.
My second one is a little bit of a risky one. It's super risky, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't think, you can go wrong here, but you might. I'm going to go Bucks versus Suns. I'm taking Bucks plus 4.5. I think the Suns win the game, but I think the Bucks are just playing super well right now. I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes to overtime. The Bucks are coming off 2 wins. The Suns are kind of reeling right now, so yes, the Suns are not worried, but the Bucks have a lot of confidence. They kind of got better. Game 1, they were bad. Game 2, they got better. Hopefully, Game 5, their third game on the road, they can kind of put it together and keep it really tight going into the fourth quarter. So I like Bucks plus 4.5 there.
And I like that even if it is a close game, and the Suns do win, which I think in a close game, it's probably more likely for the home team to win just based off the crowd. So I mean, you're just hoping for a close game. And if that happens,
exactly.
Or
if the Bucks win outright, I'm good.
Yeah.
So those are our best bets for the weekend.
Put money down on it if you so choose.
Yeah. I mean, but don't blame me if you lose.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put this down. It's just my thoughts. I might actually.
I mean, I think that's
actually I won't because sports betting's illegal.
Yeah, we don't do that here. But I mean, I think that's all we have. I mean, look out for more videos. Like, we'll probably have a tier list coming out tomorrow or whenever you're seeing this, Saturday, Sunday. Remember, we're keeping the schedule the Monday, Wednesday, Friday with some sprinkled in, just different type of content in there. So, and make sure you go follow Instagram, at Winter Stays on Pod, I think.
Yes.
And then also the TikTok, which is the same thing.
And the TikTok
kind of blew up the other day. Which was kind of cool to see.
I'd like those 5,000 people who viewed it to
come to YouTube.
Come watch it on YouTube. Thanks for sticking around, guys, if you have stuck around this far.
Okay, I have something for them to comment.
Yeah.
Comment down what we should name our little sports roundup segment. We need a little name. We also need a little intro music or outro music or something. I mean, there's not much you can comment about that, but...
Yeah, comment below what we should call our little sports roundup, sports news, sports headline segment we do at the beginning of the show. But yeah, that's all we got. We'll come back to you Monday. We will see you then. Peace out. Bye.